Plus, spinning profits from new threads. The U.S. Postal Service is planning a new clothing line to help it get out of the red. We'll speak with two experts about the challenges the post office faces and what it needs to do to lick that losing $15 billion next year. That's coming up. U.S. Postal Service really trying to revive its business at this point, from cutting back on Saturday first-class mail delivery to launching a new clothing line. Can't wait for that fashion show, Mandy.
Yeah, but how can the USPS hope to lick unprofitability? Well, joining us now is John Callan, founder of PostalVision 2020 and CNBC.com's John Carney. To both of you, great to have you on the show. We've got two Johns here and two John C's. So John Callan, I'm going to start with you. How much money could a clothing line really make, and will this make any dent in the problems, the fiscal problems that the U.S. Post Office is having?
Well, I think that's really a question for the fashion industry about how much money they can make.
I guess, yes.
Well,
I don't.
How much traction does this idea get, really, do you think, or is it just a bit of fun?
I think it's fun, but it is a good use of their very powerful brand. And they have a new CMO at the Postal Service, Nagisa Manabe, and I think this is a reflection of her marketing initiative to really build on the brand value.
Carney, you're the idea guy. You got a lot of ideas on what they could do to improve profitability. Give us a couple of them here.
Number one is let's get rid of postal deliveries, not just on Saturdays, but every other day. Actually, the only day I check my mail is Saturday. Who has time? You get home in the evening, you want to cook dinner, visit with your family, hang out with your friends. Mail during the week is a waste of time. Let's have it delivered on Saturday, and
Plus, you want to make it. Plus, you want to make it free.
Right. I do think that not all mail, remember, business mail, junk mail, that you should charge for. But if I want to send Mandy a thank you card, I think that should be free. That would actually help build the brand into something people like.
I actually personally never check my mail. I get someone else to do it because I just hate getting bills.
Lots and lots of people
down every time I get a bill.
Lots and lots of people are doing this. They don't want their mail. Everybody wants it electronically. Most of what you get is junk. Why not confine it to just one day a week that you
Back to the fashion idea. Does this have to be tongue-in-cheek? You know, like I would buy something that said Newman, but I'm not sure that I would buy something like for real.
I think there's a big sort of ironic market for this stuff. I think you can see kids hanging out in bars in Brooklyn with Postal Service hats, Postal Service jackets, maybe even the shorts in the summertime.
John Callan, you've got your Vision 2020 initiative. Tell us about that and what it would do to try and return return profitability to the USPS.
Well, PostalVision 2020 initiative is really about reinventing the entire postal ecosystem in America for the future. It's reflecting what we're just hearing, that certainly younger people don't find much use in mail. We're trying to understand that. It's all about a discussion to address where mail and communications and parcel delivery is going, and bringing everybody to the table to help reinvent what we need in the way of a new postal system.
Where would you take the knife to first, John Callan?
Excuse me?
Where would you take the knife to first? I mean, what would you cut back on to try and, get this house in order?
Well, I think Postmaster General Pat Donahue has a pretty good plan. He is the CEO, and he has named a number of areas to cut, quite a lot. Clearly, the workforce needs to be reduced, and he's working on that through attrition and buyouts, so to speak. That's 80% of the cost is in labor.
But it's even more than that. I mean, you're talking about, as you said, reinventing the business model for the Postal Service. So give us just a slight peek at what you think that should look like to try and make this a viable entity again.
Well, I think it should be right size, meaning you got to cut it back drastically. The real asset is in the delivery system, and that can continue to be supported. Even the other carriers are using it quite a bit, and they should be beginning to move towards digital applications. They've been pretty slow to do that, but are now looking at that. That means things like hybrid mail, where you create an electronic message, send it to a destination, then print it and deliver it.
Is privatizing it out of the question?
Look, I think would be a really good idea to privatize this thing. We spend way too much money on the Postal Service. It blossoms into all sorts of government pensions. But I do think that getting into electronic mail is a mistake. Look, everybody has a free Gmail account right now. Everybody has email accounts that are being, pushed on you. Microsoft will give you an email account. Google will give you an email account.
It's almost too much,
yes,
right?
Stay out of electronic mail. Figure out what your product is, and that's delivery of mail. Figure out how to get people to appreciate the product more. It's not all about cutting. Like I said, maybe make birthday cards free. Lure people into liking the post office again.
Maybe they send kissograms with every letter that arrives.
Right, exactly. Or, you know what, I say maybe people should have to go by the post office and pick up their mail. Then you would go by when you needed it, and you would save a lot on that carrier delivery cost.
John Callan, as we know, it's always smart to listen to your customer. What do customers say about all of this, especially in those what are perceived to be low profitability routes around the country, where they've talked about closing post offices in areas that, that's some people, that's their only connection to the rest of the world in some cases?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. First of all, customers in the eyes of the Postal Service are the people who do the mailing mostly and pay for it. I think your question is about those of us who receive mail, and you're hearing a lot of comment about how we might not necessarily want it. There hasn't been a lot of research on that. In fact, it's actually one of the things we're trying to address in our conference is bringing consumers, receivers of mail who aren't paying for it, to talk about what they really want from the Postal Service.
And that might even be a good way of getting some money. Maybe if you are the sort of person who really wants mail 6 days a week, you should pay for that service. Maybe the people receiving the mail should be the customers also.
Use the airline model. If you want a pillow with that seat, you got to pay for that.
You got to pay for it.
Exactly.
Your idea of maybe only once a week, as a fan on Twitter, Beastquake says they only collect the garbage once a week. So why not the mail?
Well, you know what? One of the people I was emailing with today said, you know what, a lot of your mail could just be delivered directly to the trash collectors and save everybody the time.
There you are. Thank you both, John and John.
All right,
Good to see you.
all right,
Thank you.
thanks.
You bet.